Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and today I have Heather Barkley Kilpatrick with me.
It's been a while, and you got it right. Yeah.
Did I do it good?
You did.
I almost did it backwards.
You're good.
Yeah, so Heather is on my team. She is a licensed real estate agent in the state of California, and she has been a licensed real estate agent since what year, Heather?
1996.
1996. Let that dig in.
Oh my gosh.
So we are here every single week. We are bringing you guys all of the information that you need to know about all of the current situations that are happening. We are real estate and mortgage. That is what we do. We have both been doing it since the 90s. Yes, the 90s.
Doing it longer.
Mid 90s. We've been doing it for a long time, and we've been through a lot of the cycle, right? We've been through the up, we've been through the down, and through that at least 2 to 3 different times. And so here we are again in another cycle where a lot of people don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
So I thought today would be great to bring on Heather, to have her as part of the show, since she is really been primarily real estate for the majority of her career, where even though I started in real estate, I have been mortgage for the majority of my career. So I thought that you'd be great to have that conversation today about what we're seeing, what we're feeling, the phone calls that are coming in, people that are needing our information, they're needing the education, they're not really quite sure what to do. So I really named this show, are you a homeowner that is in debt and you don't know what to do?
Yeah.
Are you toying with, should I sell my home? Are you toying with, should I be refinancing, looking into that? I might lose my low interest rate that I have, but should I do that? I've got a lot of credit card debt. Should I take out an equity line of credit? And I know that these are things that we've talked about in quite a few shows already, but I thought that it would be good for us to now again, the fact that we are off air, this show is not going to radio this weekend. We can really talk very openly and candidly, about what is happening. What are the suggestions? What should we, be telling people? How should we be answering those questions? Right. That's a really important thing, that we are making sure that we are giving you the right information and that you're making the right educated decisions. So with that, once again, this is Heather Barkley Kilpatrick. She is on with me today. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and we are going to take a super quick break to let everybody jump on. I do have the text message that is going to go out here momentarily at 1:15 Pacific time. You guys will see those text messages hit your phone. And so I do want to let everybody be able to jump in, join on, hit that link, and be part of the show. If you want to know when we go live so that you can be part of the show, you can put your questions into the feed and ask us, get your answers right there and then. You have to text MOM to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. That is the same exact phone number as well that you would call if you'd like to get a consultation from anybody on the team, me, Heather, Carrie, Heidi. If you want a consultation, you call that exact same number. So it is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. If you text that number, the word mom, and that is it, just mom, MOM, forward or back, spells it the same. If you text just that word, you will opt yourself in to get one text message a week to let you know that we are going live so that you can jump in and be part of the conversation and the show. So once again, we are going to take a super quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back. Hi, this is Debbie Marcoux, host of the Mortgage Mom Radio Show. I don't know if you've heard about it, but rents are skyrocketing. Do you rent right now? Are you a tenant? Well, chances are, if you haven't felt that pinch yet, it's coming. Think about when your contract is up and start thinking about what your landlord might do. You may even want to call your landlord to find out if they plan to increase your rents. It is happening all over the nation, and the last statistics show that we can see a 15% increase from 2021 to 2022. Give us a call. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's get you into a home. Let's lock in a monthly payment that will never change. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844-WE-LEND-FOR-YOU. WELEND and the number 4. Or head on over to our website to mortgagemomradio.com.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
At least.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux, and today I've got Heather Barkley Kilpatrick with me, and we are going to be talking to you all about options. What do? You're a homeowner. You've got some debt going on. You're not exactly sure how you should get out of it. Should you be looking at a refinance, home equity line of credit? Have you been toying with selling your home? But where do you go if you do? And so that is going to be the conversation that we are going to have today. But before we get started, I just want everybody to notate how small that I look right now.
She says she's 5 foot. I don't think she is.
Okay,
I'm going to go with 4'11".
I have to stop. I have to fix this right now.
I'm trying to slink down. I always do this. So for those of you that have seen us before, I usually am
everybody can see.
slinking down.
It's just like sitting on a phone book. So for all of you, millennials and Gen Zs that don't know what a phone book is.
Oh my gosh.
This is about the size of a phone book. Look at now. I'm still shorter than you.
I know. Okay, so she tells me just go ahead and sit up normal. Okay, hold on. This is me sitting up normally, and I'm like still heads above her. So I always kind of slink down like this, so that way she doesn't look so much smaller than me. She's like a little itty bitty mouse.
I absolutely love it. All right, sit up. Sit up. Let's do this. All right. Well, I feel better now that I'm on my box. Heidi jumps on. She says, hi, ladies. If you guys are out there and you're watching, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're there. Tell us hi. Tell us that you're watching. Remember that this is an interactive show. You are more than welcome to answer or ask any questions that you'd like, and we are going to answer them for you. Mm-hmm. I'm digging being up this high. This is
oh my gosh. It's like you put her in stilettos for the first time.
I absolutely love it. Heidi says tiny and proud.
Yes, she is.
I am very tiny.
Heidi understands because I don't think Heidi's as tall as I am. I think Heidi's like 5'4" or 5'5". But you get it sitting next to her.
I think Heidi's like 5'5" or 5'6". She's actually pretty tall. She's just very skinny.
She's tiny.
She's very tiny.
Yeah.
She's very petite.
I'm 5'7". I think
her little bones are very small. Her little hands are very small.
Carrie taller than
Can you believe she's that tall? Heidi's actually a really quick piece of everything for everybody to know. Heidi is quite a bit taller than me.
Yes.
And she wears the same shoe size as I do.
So either you have
there you go. Heidi says she's 5'4".
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so
well,
I'm
standing
5'7",
next to her, I feel like she's 5'6".
We're gonna be like down.
So much fun. Carrie says, that's great.
I think
yes,
Carrie's 5'5" too. I think I'm the tallest.
I don't know. I'm definitely
I know
not.
Jen's not tallest.
I'm by far the shortest of all the mortgage
She's
moms.
not 5 feet tall. She's only 4'11". Don't let her tell you anything different.
Anyway, hey, you know what? I'll be 4'9", 4'10". I don't care. I'm proud.
Exactly.
All right. So welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. So I have you on today.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about something a little bit more serious, and we do want people to jump in and ask your questions. If you're a homeowner that right now, we've been getting quite a few calls, and I know Heidi's watching, and Carrie's watching, and you're taking the calls as well. So all of us are here, really to tell you what we're feeling and what we're seeing. And obviously, those of us that are boots on the ground in the industry, we are getting the phone calls. We're fielding those phone calls. Oh, by the way, Carrie says she's 5'6".
Yes.
It's just I didn't think I was taller than Heidi. Well, you are. But Heidi does like to wear boots and tall shoes. So
Heidi does wear heels.
Yes.
So she comes off taller than she really
she
is.
is one sexy mama.
She
let me just tell you.
I'm telling
All
you.
right. So anyway, what we're talking about is, we're fielding the phone calls, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the phone calls that we've actually been having come in recently have been homeowners that are in debt and they've got quite a bit of credit cards that they have racked up. So in last week's episode, I talked about, the friend that gave me a call or, texted me and said, I've got this debt. I don't know what to do. And so, it really got me thinking during last week's show, what should we be, telling people? What should we be educating them against? Should we be, advising them that, they should sell their home? Should we be advising them to do absolutely nothing? Should we be advising that an equity line of credit is the way to go? And so really, I think that it really depends on the scenario, the situation, the person, but there's a lot that is happening right now that is, very important that I think that we discuss this because I can absolutely see that we're probably going to start to see some foreclosures.
Yes.
We are going to definitely see some short sales.
Yes.
We've got buyers that are saying, should we be buying right now? Should we be waiting?
And a lot of people don't know what a short sale is because it's been a good, 11, 12 years or so before, since they've been
They don't even know
around.
that that's an opportunity or an
Correct.
option. So that's what this show is going to be about. We're going to be talking today about different options, giving you all your homework to do to determine what's going to work best for you. We're not here to give you the advice. We're not financial advisors, but we can talk about what options are and what education and homework that you need to do before you make the decisions. So Heidi says, you are all killing me. I like that. And Vern got on, says, really appreciate the service you provide to all of us listeners. Oh, Vern, thank you so much. I've
Thank
actually never
you.
seen you jump on
No.
before. I love that you are
Bless you,
watching.
Mikey.
Yes, and bless you, Mikey. I don't know if you guys can hear him back there. He's running the show. All right. So again, I want to make sure everybody knows with those comments that this is open discussion. Anybody can ask any question. We're going to read it out loud and we're going to answer it for you. And that is what this show is all about. It's very important that we are giving our listeners the information that they need. And so we want you to share it. We want you to like it. We want you to tell your friends about it. We want everybody to jump on when we go live on Wednesdays. It's always right about 1:00 Pacific Standard Time. We do send out a text message if you've opted in to let you know that we have gone live. So if you would like to opt into that service, please make sure that you do. Tell your friends. We don't spam anybody. I'm not sending you anything to buy. I'm not texting you numerous times a week. I mean, how many text messages did we all get yesterday and the day before and the day before about voting?
Yes. And you text stop. And you
Yes.
get another one. Thank you for your response. And then there's more coming. You're like, you gotta be
It
you're
was
just
crazy.
killing
It was
me.
absolutely killing us.
Yes.
My husband's like, if I get one more text message.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're not going to do that. We're not going to spam you guys, but we do want you to be part of the show. We do want you to be interactive. And we want to make sure we get the information to you that you need. And the only way for us to do that is for you to actually ask the questions because you as the listeners are the economy. If you think about it, you are the people that are out there that are experiencing this, that are living in the real world, of middle America. And, we want you to ask the questions. And so please feel free to do that. This is open discussion. So let's talk about, again, so you get a phone call and somebody says, I have, $40,000, $50,000 in credit card debt, other debts, right? Whatever that it might be. Maybe it's not even credit cards, but they've got about 50,000 in debt. And they're looking to either refinance the home to get some cash out, maybe take an equity line of credit to get some cash out. They're just trying to figure out where they can go to get the money that they need to pay this debt off, right?
Yeah.
So where do we start? How about you start to question me
Okay.
as though I am the person calling?
I'm a griller.
Yeah, well, I mean, you
No,
do the
and it's-
consultation.
I
Let's do
do.
the consultation.
Yeah, and-
So you ask me
Okay.
and I'm going to answer as
Role play.
Yes, absolutely role play, because
Yeah.
I'm going to answer very similar to what we seem to be getting over
Right.
and over and over again right
Right.
now, because I feel like this is what people need to hear.
Well, and I think the big thing is that a lot of people perceive that we're going to judge them because, oh, we're in trouble. And that is so far from the truth. And, a lot of the calls that I get off of, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for taking that half an hour or that hour and answering my questions, because I really didn't know what to do. And so I'm not going to tell you, you have to do this or you have to do that. I'm going to present you with what's available to you. I'm going to do with Debbie here in a second. And then it's up to you to make the best decision for you and your family.
So Heidi says, get her, girl.
Chime in, Heidi. So generally when we get the call, it'll go something like, hi, my name is Debbie, and I'll be like, hi, Debbie, this is Heather with
No,
Mortgage
so
Mom
let's just
Radio.
start. You answer the phone.
Okay. Hi. Hello.
This is Heather.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It depends. If you come on about, a lot of times I'll say Mortgage Mom Radio or Mortgage Mom Radio. This is Heather. That's literally how the call starts.
Sure.
And people go, oh, I've heard you.
Right. So-
Absolutely. You hear me. So, yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to say, okay, well,
Yeah.
my name's Debbie, and
Hi,
I was
Debbie.
listening to the show.
Okay.
And, I've got some questions. I need some help.
Okay. Absolutely. So what do we have going on?
Well, I'm looking to try to get some, I need some cash, and I'm not exactly sure how to get it, but I've got to get some of these credit cards paid off. I owe about $50,000 on the credit cards, and they're killing me.
Okay. So at this point, I'm going to usually ask you, okay, what state do you live in? So I have an idea of what the rules are, because I just want to let everybody know each state is different on their rules for, refinance, first of all. But if you're looking at a short sale, you're looking at selling, or you're looking at, oh my gosh, I'm going into foreclosure, because we do get those calls too. So right now I'm going to be a little state specific to like California, but if you have questions, feel free, and ask us in there. So, but in California, so she would say, oh, I live in California. I usually would ask, okay, what county do you live in?
I live in LA County.
Okay, perfect. So give me an idea. What do you think the value of your home is?
It's probably 600,000, maybe 700,000.
Okay, and where did you get your value from?
I was looking on Zillow.
Okay, perfect. At this point, I would ask, what is your address? Because at the same time, I'm going to look on Zillow to see if we're okay as far as the value of the home goes. And then I would say, okay, right now, how much do you owe on your home?
Oh, I owe 400,000.
Okay, and do you have a second loan right now or just a first?
Just a first.
Okay, perfect. So we're looking at owing about 400,000. We think the house is worth about 600,000. Right there, as a lender, that's going to tell me she does have some play as far as if she needs to do a cash out, if she needs to do some sort of a home equity line, whether it's a line of credit or a equity loan. So I know right now that I have a couple different options. So then I'm going to ask, are your payments current?
Yes, I am on time with my payments. Barely, but I'm making them.
Okay, so you're struggling every month to make those payments.
Yes,
okay.
which is why I need the money to get those all cleared up.
Okay, so then if you have the money to go ahead and pay off the loans, do you feel that you would be able to make that mortgage payment better? Or do you feel like you're still going to struggle?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'd really like to be able to pull cash out, get my credit cards paid off, maybe lower my monthly payment
Okay.
from what it is today.
Okay. So right now, what is the rate on your home?
3%.
Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you, Debbie. Right now, the rates are nowhere near 3%. You're going to at least double, probably more that rate. So if you're owing $400,000 on your home, for me to take you to a rate now, that's going to be somewhere in the high sixes, possibly low sevens, depending on your situation. It's going to more than double your payment, most likely. So if it's an option, I would like to kind of let you keep your first where it's at with that 3%, and let's possibly look at doing like a home equity line of credit and see how that works. The rates are going to be a little bit higher, but there's a bunch of different options for you to look at with that. So that might work out for you. And then I would ask you, what are your payments? Like how many credit cards do you have? What is it that you're looking to pay off? And I want to get an idea of what your monthly payments are on those credit cards.
On that debt.
Debt. Because if Debbie's only paying $500 a month for those those credit cards, those minimum payments, and she's looking at an equity line that's going to cost her, say, $600 or $700 a month, I'm going to be detrimental to her by giving her an equity line to pay off credit cards that's going to give her a higher payment at the end of the month. So I would dig in a little bit more and find out, what are your minimum payments? And I do take notes so I can see she's got 3 credit cards, she's got a personal loan, a student loan, whatever it is, so I can determine from those loans what we would pay off and where it makes sense. We do have a calculator called a blended rate calculator. I can put in all of your debts with your interest in there, and I can see what your overall rate is. Now, Debbie and I both know right now that credit cards are well into the 20%, if not higher.
Like 28%.
Yes.
I was just actually looking last night at that
Yes.
myself, because I just kind of wanted to get an idea, like, where are we at? Now that the
Yeah.
prime rate has gone up so many times, where are the actual, what are they offering on credit cards these
Yes,
days, right?
it's crazy.
And if you've got really great credit, they definitely have some that are zero interest for the first 12 months, zero interest for the first 18 months,
Yes.
which is fabulous. But a lot of times, if you've already racked up the credit card debt and you owe very high to what the limits are,
Yeah.
then your credit score is already going to be lower, and the chances of you qualifying for those
Yeah.
0% for 12 to 18 months are very slim.
Yes.
So when I was looking at, okay, well, what is kind of the average interest rate for a new credit card today? They were between 26 and 28% is what they were advertising before you even apply for the credit
Right,
card.
and they see your credit score.
Yeah. So they were pretty high. You guys keep that in mind. Many
Yeah.
of you have probably not actually stopped and looked at what the interest rates are on the debt that you carry on your credit cards. They are significantly high.
And one of the things is a lot of people right now are using those credit cards just to live month to month because the cost of everything's gone up so high. So you really kind of need to look at that and see, where am I at? Am I adding to this? How can I help? And so, like we were talking just now, I would talk with her about what her payments are, determine, what's going on. So let's just say for this example that it would work for her to do some sort of a equity line to pull that money out. She's going to save money each month because her rate's going to be lower and her payment's going to be lower.
Yep.
So
So,
then
scenario one turns out
Yeah.
either an equity line of credit or literally keep what you've got.
Right.
And we're gonna dive into that a little bit more, but then I want to do another scenario with you. So we're gonna keep going because I want to get to the person that doesn't have enough equity to be able to pull cash out.
Ooh, I got a story for that one.
Yeah,
You
so-
know I do.
Yeah, so I do want to make sure that everybody's getting what they
Yeah.
need. Again, I want to remind you all that this is interactive. You are more than welcome to put your questions in the feed. We will read them out loud. We will answer them for you. But I feel like, we want to get down to what the truth of the matter is, what people are feeling right now out there in the world. What, what are they feeling? What do we need to do to try to help you fix it? And what are the solutions and the answers? Sometimes we can't give you those, but we at least want to get you close. So everybody stay tuned. We're going to take a super quick break. This big old box that I'm sitting on is making my butt go a little numb. So I might have to adjust a little. We'll be right back.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
Here we go. Home buyer education. You guys are looking at the very first screen that is in my PowerPoint presented by Mortgage Mom Radio. You've got my name, you've got my licensing. That's all very important because it is important to know that the person that you are working with is a licensed agent or a licensed loan officer in your area where you're looking. That is very, very important. I do recommend that you have somebody with state licensing for your state. So for example, I personally have 13 state licenses. I'm working on 3 more, so I should have about 16 state licenses by the end of this year. And many loan officers will only have 1 license for the state in which they work and they live. So you do want to make sure that you are working with somebody who is licensed in your state. It is very important. Every state is a little bit different. The rules, everything that goes along with the financing can be slightly different from county to state to city. So that is very important. Now, the cool thing about Mortgage Mom Radio, since we are licensed, or I am licensed in so many states, we can actually work with you not no matter what, but for a good amount of the nation, a good amount of the country, we can work with you. So we have many clients who have called us and said, try to figure out where I want to go. I might want to be in Texas. I might want to be in Florida. we can help him in both of those journeys. Tennessee, Georgia. If you guys want to have a list of every state that we can help you in, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to give that to you.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. Today I've got Heather Barkley Kilpatrick in studio with me, and we are talking about options. We're going to go through some scenarios with you. We already started with one. You know, what is the best course of action for you if you found yourself that you're in debt, you're a homeowner, you're not sure what to do, you don't know whether you should refinance, you don't know whether you should pull an equity line of credit, maybe you need to sell. And we're just going to kind of go through some different scenarios and how we might educate somebody and the homework assignments that we would give them in order for they to determine what the best course of action is. We're not here to give you that. We're not financial advisors, but we can educate you and give you all of the different scenarios and options that you have to make sure that you are making the right decisions. So scenario one, right before we went to break, and this is actually really funny. I have to start off with this. I am sitting on a box today to try to make myself as tall as Heather so that we look like we're a little bit closer in size. And so right before the break, I said, I have got to take a quick break because my butt's going numb. I had to readjust that box. And so we had Eric jump on who says numb butt syndrome, huge problem. And let me just tell you that it is.
So she looks a little taller. The box is a little bit more square under her over there.
Yeah, well, I had it sitting on top of a blanket, so it was kind of leaning forward a little bit. So then it was pushing into my, my tailbone. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I've actually broken my tailbone 3 times. So they don't fix a tailbone when you break it. They basically just say, don't, lay on your side and don't sit down for like months at a time until it feels better. So my butt goes numb really fast. It always has. I don't drive well in the car.
You can't see, but her tippy toes are on the ground over here.
I have my tippy
She's
toes
like
down.
A kid at the doctor's office where they can barely reach the ground. It's absolutely hysterical.
Hey, but we look good.
I know. I said we need an outtake video so they can see
of the show.
you.
Yeah, it's good. All right.
Awesome.
So scenario one, let's get back to it. And again, remember, guys, this is interactive. Please feel free to put your questions and your comments in the feed. We'll read them out loud. We'll answer them for you. But scenario number one was, I've got, $50,000 worth of credit card debt. I really want to get rid of it. I've got a 3% interest rate on my home. My house is worth about $600,000. My current mortgage is at $400,000. What do I do? And what I liked, the best advice that you gave, which we're not going to call it advice, the best education that you gave, was that, you would look at, obviously not doing a refinance. You take $400,000 and you make it $450,000, and you take somebody from a 3% interest rate to a 7% interest rate, and their payment more than doubles.
Right.
So what we do is we look at how much is that $50,000 in credit card debt costing you per month? What kind of interest rate could we get you on a new equity line of credit or an equity loan? And if you guys want to know which one should you do, go back to a previous YouTube and watch it. We've got lots of them that we've talked about, equity loan versus equity line. But, we want to look at what is the new monthly payment going to be on that option, and is it going to be less expensive than what you're paying right now in those minimums? So, that would be the first piece of homework, would be call me and let me know, what are those monthly payments that you're making on that debt that you're trying to pay off. And so if the line of credit or the home equity loan was less expensive than keeping it as is, then we would definitely recommend going that direction.
Right.
Now, one thing that I'm going to say this, and I've said it many, many times, and I'm going to tell you guys, listen to mom, please. You will pay your credit cards off. You will have every intention of never touching them again. And you will touch them and you will use them, and you'll use them for the first time and say, well, it's just for this one thing. And
I
then
can
I'll
pay it off.
And then it's just for this one thing, and then I'll pay it off. Well, crap. I've
Yeah.
already used it almost to its limit.
Yeah, we can say crap now.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off, right?
Yes.
And the next thing you know, you just end up back in that cycle. So you've got to, you guys, and I said this last week too, you have to get very diligent right now. You have to get very budgeted, you've got to put them away. If you figure out a way to get out of your hole today and you get yourself back in a hole, there is a very, very good chance that you are not going to get out of that hole the next time. And so that is what scenario number 2 is going to be that we're going to go through right now, is going to be somebody that has done this over and over again. The reason that I mentioned in scenario 1 before the break was I'd really like to refinance, pull the cash out, pay off the debt, and lower my payment. That used to be something that I heard for years in a row from 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. And it was something that we could do over and over and over again. And people were gaining equity in their homes year over year. Property, values were going up. Interest rates were coming down. I could finance more at a lower interest rate to keep your payment the same or even better than what you were paying before by also paying your debt off. So people got in this cycle of spend it, pay it, refinance, pay it off. Spend it, refinance, pay it off. And we're in a cycle right now where this is just not going to continue to be something that you can do. So we're going to run into cycle or scenario number 2 right now. And, then we're going to talk about different options there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to actually, I'm going to question you this time. Ooh. So you're going to be the borrower. Okay. And I want you to talk the scenario that we discussed before about the friend that you've got, because I want you guys to realize, we are real humans. We are doing this every single day, and we have friends just like you, and we are just like you. Yeah. And many of us are not in a good situation right now. So let's go through that scenario. Okay.
Yeah. And this is actually a real scenario. I went to dinner with a friend. He called me up and said, "Hey, we haven't seen each other in a while."
Look at, see how I'm sliding on the box with the.
Is it crazy?
Just moving that tailbone around a little bit.
You just move yourself over there.
I love it.
But he called me up. He said, "Hey, we haven't seen each other in a while. Why don't we go to dinner?" I said, "Absolutely." And we start talking, and he's got an amazing job, makes a good amount of money, and he starts telling me, because I have a problem, and I said, "Okay, what's going on?" So this is the scenario.
Okay. So let's start. Ready?
Okay.
No, don't give them the scenario.
Okay, go.
Yeah. No. We're going to do it just like I take a phone call.
All right, at it.
This is Debbie. How can I help you?
Hi, Debbie. My name's Heather, and I'm wanting to know if I can pull some cash out of my house.
All right. Well, why don't you kind of give me a quick, what's going on? What do you owe? What's your house worth? Like, let's kind of just give me a scenario.
So, I bought my house this last year. I bought it with an FHA loan, so I only put 3.5% down. When I bought it, it was worth about $460,000. I think right now the market's come down a little bit. Zillow is telling me it's worth about $470,000. So I know I have, from what I put down and everything, I think I have like $19,000 equity from the numbers that I'm doing.
Okay. All right. And what exactly is it that you mentioned that you're trying to take cash out?
Yeah. I know I have that $19,000 in there, so I wanted to pull all of that out so I can pay some bills.
Okay. So that's actually not going to be possible. We can't do a cash out refinance unless you have at least 20% equity. However, do you happen to be a veteran or active duty?
I'm not, but why can't I pull the $19,000 out? Because I have that equity in the home.
So every single loan program has its different underwriting guidelines, and none of them want you to be able to pull out up to 100% of the value of your home, because they are concerned when that if property values drop, it would just be that much easier to walk away.
Got it.
It's the risk factor that goes into when they write the guidelines.
Okay.
So in your scenario, if you were a vet, I would say maybe we would have an opportunity to take a look at that.
Okay.
See if we could maybe pull the cash out, because with a VA loan, we could go up to 100% of the value. That's the one loan program that we have that would let you go there. But with an FHA loan and you put 3.5% down, it sounds like the home is worth about what you paid for it.
Yeah, about that.
So we don't really even have room to look at doing an equity line of credit, because the highest that we can go with an equity line of credit would be to 95%, or an equity loan. An actual equity loan, I believe the equity lines are capped at 90. But there would be something there possibly doing a first and a second, but we can only go to a combined loan to value maximum of 95%, which you're already above that because you only put the 3.5% down. So unfortunately, in your scenario, I don't, as the lender, actually have any options to offer you right now. How much is it that you were trying to, what do you owe? How much debt do you have right now?
So I have about $40,000 in credit card debt that I wanted to get paid off because I'm really struggling each month to pay my mortgage. And even though I just bought the house, I'm, borrowing money to pay that or my homeowners association dues. And it's just more than I could handle. I struggled getting into it. I probably shouldn't have bought it. But now I'm here and I don't know what to do.
Okay. So what we might, have you thought about possibly looking to see if you were to sell the property, what you might be able to go and rent for? Like, can you get a property that you could go and rent that would be similar to where you live today, that could be maybe a lower monthly for you so that you could get the cash that you need to pay your debts off?
Yeah, I can probably rent a property. I was kind of looking at some apartments and stuff. Right now I rent one of the rooms out just to kind of help me make up my payment each month. So I was thinking, if me and my roommate went and, rented an apartment or something like that. I only have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath right now, so it's pretty similar. And my payment would go down a lot. I was looking at that and I would probably save about $1,000 plus a month.
So you would save $1,000 a month by going and renting.
Yeah.
Over what you pay today, even with the rent that you get from renting out the extra bedroom?
Correct. Yeah.
So it might be something that you would want to explore, and this is where, this is where I'm going to stop the actual scenario piece. But in this situation, what I would actually tell him is that this is something that he might want to explore. However, even if he sells his home today, I don't believe he's going to get any cash out of the property. Zero. There will be nothing there for him to pay off the debts, which is what he came to us looking for. Even though the monthly payment, the rent, will be less expensive than what he is paying today, he is going to lose the tax deduction of the mortgage interest and the property taxes. And as of today, still the mortgage insurance is deductible from the FHA loan that he has. So I would really tell him, number one, explore with your CPA first, because if you can have that extra bedroom rented, it's going to be a lot cheaper for him monthly to go get a 1-bedroom. But right now he's living in a 2-bedroom. Yeah. So if he can get rent from somebody for the 1-bedroom, one extra 1-bedroom, extra 1-bathroom that he has, and he can also take advantage of the tax deduction, knowing that if he sells the home by the time that he's done with real estate fees and paying off the loan and, all of your seller's costs with escrow and title, right, he's not going to walk away with the cash in his hand. No. So in this situation, I would actually, at this point with this call, is that I would suggest that he reach out to his real estate agent that helped him with the purchase to see how much would he actually walk away with, if anything? Would he actually end up owing money? And I would have him calling his CPA to say, it's going to be about, honestly, probably $1,000 cheaper if I go rent, but I'm going to lose my tax deductions. Yeah. So can you tell me how my tax return might change from being an owner, a homeowner to not being a homeowner? And obviously then let him make those decisions from there. Yeah. If I had to take a guess, I would say he's probably better off staying in the property, renting out the bedroom, and trying to figure out what to do with the debt, you know, and that's just my suggestion, because once it's a bad situation and a lot of people are in it, but you do need to have enough equity in your home to sell it to be able to get the money out for what it is that you're looking to pay off, right?
And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm just going to say, we did not help him with the purchase of the property. So I didn't, he's a friend of mine I hadn't talked to in a while, and he said, oh, hey, I bought, I was like, oh, okay. But he's kind of in a tough situation. A lot of people are there, to where like you don't have enough money to go and actually take, an equity line or something like that. And he was really surprised, because he kept saying, well, I have, $19,000. I said, well, I understand that. And I kept explaining it just how you did. And it was really a shock to him him that he couldn't pull that money out, even though he had that equity and he was really relying on that. So once we kind of got past that hurdle, we talked about the taxes, because he does make a good amount of money. He's in a really great profession. And so we talked about, can you afford to lose that tax write-off, those taxes that you're writing off, the interest that you're writing off, the MI that you're writing off? Is it possible he is renting a room? Can you get somebody, more rent for that room? So we kind of explored all options. We did explore selling, and would he even have enough to cover the closing costs of
and
selling?
I don't think that he would. And that's where I was going to go.
Would.
So, that's where I was going to go next.
Yeah.
Is if you think about it, he bought the home with 3.5% down.
Yes.
He probably bought at the highest of the highest of the highest. Like he's probably the highest price closing in his complex, in his condominium complex. And so, prices have already come down. He only put 3.5% down on that property.
Right.
And depending on where you are located, again, we're on YouTube, right? We've got people watching us from every state in the country.
Yeah.
So depending on where you're located, you can see that your seller's closing costs between real estate commissions and, all of the actual costs for the title policies and, the escrow, or if you're not in an escrow state, attorneys. Wherever it is that you might be located, you're usually anywhere from 5 to 7% of the sales price are the costs, what it costs you to sell. So he doesn't even have enough equity to cover those costs. He'd end up having to bring more money out of pocket to try
Which
to
he
go
doesn't
and rent and
Yes.
get into something cheaper, but then lose all of his tax deductions. Really, in his situation, he's best staying. And Carrie actually jumped in and she said, you better Airbnb some rooms, Heather. And that is true. Like, just like you said, he needs to get one of those bedrooms rented out to try to bring his costs down, which can help him to afford those credit card bills a little bit more. Maybe he should be looking into, is there any kind of debt consolidation loan that he can do? Are there any personal loans that he could possibly take where he could get all of the debt paid off and everything consolidated into one loan? And this is where I kind of want to get into, what is a short sale, because like you said, it's been years since that's something that people have really talked about. And, in his situation, if he tried to do a short sale to not have to bring money in out of pocket to sell the home, then he would have to short sale, which is going to just absolutely destroy him credit wise. So we are going to take a super quick break. I want to remind everybody that this is an interactive show. If you want to ask questions, please put them into the feed. We're here to answer them, read them out loud, and answer them for you. If you want to know when we go live so that you can get in on the conversation every Wednesday right about 1 p.m. Pacific time, make sure you text the word MOM, that's MOM, to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend For You. WELEND and the number 4. Same phone number to give us a call at the office. Get yourself a consultation. You can book it right through the website, mortgagemomradio.com. We are here to help you guys figure life out. That is the bottom line. If you want to buy a home, you are a homeowner, and you are just trying to figure out life and where to go next, that is what we're here for. We're all a bunch of moms that have been in the industry for a really long time. So once again, give us a call. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend For You. WELEND and the number 4. We're going to take a quick break so I can stand up and give my butt a break, and we'll be right back.
Fix her box.
Yeah, fix my box.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done. When you're in need and don't know where to go, pick up the phone and call mom.
All right. So how do you guys contact us? And this is really important because once we're done with this presentation today, you may decide that now's the time. You want to get things started. You want to ask us questions. Let me just tell you that anywhere at all that you look for Mortgage Mom Radio, you can find us. Everything is Mortgage Mom Radio. Don't forget the radio, because there are a ton of people that try to call themselves Mortgage Mom, but Mortgage Mom Radio, you will find us. The website is mortgagemomradio.com. On Instagram, we are Mortgage Mom Radio. You can see it all here. It's on this screen.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 2080230, 237-926, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I-210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and today I've got Heather Barkley Kilpatrick on with me. She is a real estate agent, licensed real estate agent in the state of California. Do you know your license number?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Give it to us.
That
way we're compliant.
012130079.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do it one more time.
012130079.
There you
It's
go.
an old one.
Yeah, well, if I pulled out mine, it's probably just as old. So anyway, we are talking all today about what can we do to help you guys out. You can actually see my knee up in the screen. I had to do that because it puts a different angle on the box, which is helping it take a little pressure off of the tailbone. But if I don't sit on this box, I literally look like a midget. If you guys go back to the beginning of the show, I am so tiny.
Short people problems.
It is. You know, I mean, honestly, I am very, very, very close to being classified
As
as
a little person.
a little person. But actually, no, I think that I could get a handicap plate.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
We walk around the office here and there's step stools everywhere because she can't reach the top shelf.
It's like that at my
So you
house
have to
too.
kick them out of the way.
It's like that at my house too. Trust me. And I am a master of climbing on the kitchen countertop.
Well, you're an ex-gymnast.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, so let's get into another scenario because
Yeah.
right before the break, we talked about short sale. I think that you guys have been hearing things like, hey,
Yeah.
foreclosures are coming.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a scenario in which maybe it does make sense for somebody to sell their home right now. There's going to be a couple scenarios that I would say that might be the right option. Maybe not an equity line or an equity loan, not a full-blown refinance, but possibly actually selling your property. So one of those situations that would be, selling your property, which we've had the phone calls, are somebody that is behind on their mortgage payments. They've got racked up credit card debt. They are not making enough to be able to maintain the property that they have. They did just buy 12 months ago. They bought for more than what the home is worth today. They put down
Minimal.
5%, minimal 3%, 5% down,
Yeah.
3.5% down. Maybe they were a vet, did a zero down. And they're trying to figure out what they do. And this can happen to anybody. This could have been financial mismanagement, went out and bought a bunch of brand new furniture and just had a heyday on getting this brand new house that they were so excited about set up, and now they're paying the consequences. This could have been simply a matter of, inflation, right?
Yeah.
Not property, but, gas is more expensive. It's costing them more to get to work. Groceries are more expensive. Utilities are more expensive. Wasn't something that they budgeted for, and it just threw them way over what they could actually be able to tolerate. It could be something where they were working and they lost a job, and they can't get back to work. They found a new job. It doesn't pay what it used to. So all of those different scenarios can happen. There is absolutely no judgment being casted in this situation, but it is one that is out there and that we are starting to see is happening to people. And so we want to make sure that we bring up this scenario so that you are prepared. And if it's something that can resonate with you or does resonate with you, that maybe what those different options might be. So
Right. And I'll say real fast, you don't even have to be behind on your payments if you're somebody who's struggling with that payment, or if you're somebody who knows in the near future you're not going to be able to make the payment. So if that's you and this applies to you, absolutely. So you don't have to be behind. I'll just say that right now.
yes, no, you don't. You don't have to be behind, but you might be getting really close to the
Yep.
point that you're trying to decide if you're going to eat or make the payment.
Yes.
And when you're in that situation, right,
Yeah.
we ultimately know what is ahead, and that is really difficult. And trying to make those decisions are difficult. So, one thing to think about, there's a lot of different things that you can think about in that scenario would be, number one, your home is one of the most important things that you have. And no matter what, doesn't matter what it's worth. It doesn't matter what you owe on it. If at the end of the day, I want you guys to do some research. I want you to do the homework. I want you to look at where can you relocate to, whether it's across the street or it's down the street or it's across, the city on the other side of the city, or whether it's in a whole nother town or state. If you move, where are you going? what kind of property do you need for you or for you and your family, whatever your situation is, and what is that rent going to cost? So that is one of the most important pieces. You know, if your mortgage today is $3,000 a month and you're going to have to go and rent something if you sell, what is your rent going to cost you? If it's going to cost you about the same, maybe more, maybe even just slightly less, it may not make sense to lose your property. It might not make sense, but it might make sense to look into a bankruptcy.
Yeah.
You know, it might make sense to look into what can I do with this credit card debt? What can I do with these other things? Do I need this super expensive car with this super expensive car payment? You know, what is there anything at all that you can do to keep yourself in the home if where you would be relocating to is going to be roughly about the same? Now, if you can go and you can rent for half the price.
Yeah, different ball game.
Half the price, different ball game. Now let's talk about different options, right? So Heather, I owe $500,000. My house is worth $490,000. I'm not behind on payments yet, but I'm certainly getting close to having to get there.
Okay.
So what do I do?
So we're going to have the conversation about, you know, where do you live? What do you think you would be able to rent for? If they're comparable and you're like, I just can't do it, or I need to move out of state, or, you know, whatever, I know I'm going to lose my job. You know, it really depends on what your situation is. If you tell me I'm not losing my home, I have to stay in my home, we're going to have a BK talk. We're going to have a talk about how much debt do you really have, and, you know, is filing bankruptcy right for you? If that's not an option and that's off the table and we're back to, okay, you're really going to have to look seriously at selling your home. If you're upside down on it, and upside down basically means you owe more on the home than it's worth. So
or by the time you're done with seller's costs.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. So like with the situation Debbie's giving the scenario at $500,000, you know, is what she owes on it. It's about worth $490,000. So there's a $10,000 deficit there. However, what you got to think about too is now it's going to have your cost to sell that property. So if you add on minimum another 5%, that's $25,000. You're now $35,000 upside down on that house minimum. At that point, we're going to talk about, you know, either
do you have $35,000
Yes.
to come to the table with? Because if you do, maybe you should use that to pay the debt off.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So again, we just want to make sure that
Yeah.
we're giving you guys the homework to start thinking about
Right.
what can you do. You know, we're not here advocating for you guys to sell.
No.
We're in the mortgage industry. You know, we're in the real estate industry. We are here to help you guys to buy homes, to keep
Right.
your homes, to get your debt paid off. We want what's best for you and your family. But these are very, very hard situations right now that are coming up quite
Yes.
frequently. And we're going to start to see it even more and more frequently as we move through the next couple of years. I mean, they're not going to stop the interest rate increases. As you know, the mortgage mom, if I was to give you my, what do they call that when you my prediction? So Mortgage Mom Radio prediction is that in probably this time, I'm going to say February of 2024, interest rates will be 10% for a mortgage.
You think so?
I do. That's the Mortgage Mom Radio's prediction.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying that for mortgages, those credit cards that we started to talk about at the beginning
Yes.
of the show, where we said right now you're looking at 26 and 28%, those are going to be in the 30% range.
Yeah.
And the minimum monthly payments that you pay today are going to be even more expensive. The equity lines that you guys have that are tied to the prime rate are going to be even more expensive if they haven't already been shut down because you've lost equity. So not trying to put the bummer spin on it, but we all need to get realistic right now. And we need to get real with the decisions that we're making and what are the best decisions to make.
Yeah.
So in what scenario do you feel that it would be best to put somebody's home on the market and do a short sale? So first of
Okay.
all, a short sale. What is a short sale? You owe more on the house than what it's
Yeah.
worth, or by the time you're done with all of the closing costs and the seller's fees, you don't have the cash to bring in to make up the deficit. And so
Correct.
now you are considered a short sale.
Right.
A real estate agent like Heather has to go to the bank, to the mortgage company that you have your loan with, and she has to negotiate for the bank to take less for the payoff right? They're going to take
Yes.
less than what you owe to help you sell your house. So let's talk about, do you feel the ideal situation that somebody should consider a short sale as their option?
So one of the first things when we've done these for years, haven't been around for a while. I've probably done hundreds, sadly, but the first thing that the bank is going to want to see is, number one, that you have an offer on the home. So if you're looking at short selling your house because you owe more on it than it's worth, or you owe more when you include your closing costs on the home than it's worth, the first thing we're going to say is, let's get the property on the market. It does have to be aggressively priced, which means that you're probably going to be the lower one on the market. In previous years, in 2007, 8, 9, 10, you would see, price drops by $20,000, $30,000. And so, yes, that would be what you want to do. You want to get an offer right away. The property is always sold as is. You are not going to make any repairs. You are not going to make any changes. So don't worry if your walls are dented or your carpet is stained. The buyer is buying your property as is. Once we get that offer, I have to put together a whole package for the bank. The offer, your financials, just as if you were applying for a loan. They want to see, why are you not making your payment? Did you lose a job?
What is your hardship?
Yes. Did you lose a job? Did somebody, heaven forbid, pass away? Did you go through a divorce? Did you have to take a pay cut? Why are you having this hardship now that you didn't have when you purchased the home a few years ago, or that you haven't had in the past? So we do have to go and negotiate on your behalf with the bank. It is a back and forth. Generally, it takes about 6 weeks, possibly 8, to even get a response from them. So we submit the whole package to them with all of our information. They review it. They come back to us and they say, okay, we're sending out an appraiser. The appraiser values the property. Usually by that time, properties have gone down a little bit, so you're okay on your price. They'll come back and they'll say whether or not it's approved, and they'll give us the terms and conditions. So at that point, it's kind of like the bank selling your home, but you still sign everything as the homeowner because you are the homeowner. If you are behind, it used to be better because it showed more of a hardship. It's completely up to you and what your situation is as far as making payments goes, whether or not you need to be that far.
So let me just tell you, if you can continue to make your payments, I would highly recommend it.
Yep.
I don't even want to talk foreclosure on this show because I would hope that anybody that listens to me would know to call us at the first point of emergency rather than getting themselves to a point that they do end up in foreclosure.
Right.
Me as the lender looking out for your best interest, if you don't miss mortgage payments, that's better for us to be able to get you into another mortgage down the road. If you have a short sale versus a foreclosure, it is easier and faster for me to get you into another mortgage down the road. There is a huge misconception that you have to be behind on your mortgage payment in order to get the bank to accept your short sale. That is absolutely false. That is a misconception. That does not need to happen. Back in the day when people were all trying to do loan modifications, they were actually told, stop making your mortgage payments so that they will look at it to help you. That is not the case. You do not have to do that. So anything that you can do to try to save your credit as much as possible is going to be easier for you in the future to become a homeowner again. So I hope that you guys do hear that piece of education from me on that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I had Big Rick jumps on and says, can I still sell if I had a HELOC? So, yes, that's a great question. You can sell your loan or sell your home if you've had a home equity line of credit, but the home equity line of credit does have to be paid off if we're not talking about anything to do with, like a short sale. So if you're just a normal old seller and you want to sell your property, no matter what the liens are that are against your property, they must be sold. So if you have a mortgage, you have an equity line, you've got a tax lien, whatever that it might be, an SBA loan, whatever might be attached to your property as a lien must be satisfied in order for you to be able to sell your property. So if you have a first mortgage that is $400,000 and you have a line of credit that is $100,000 and your home is worth $500,000, you do still need to take care of that equity line of credit. But now in that situation, Heather doesn't have to deal with the first mortgage bank.
I have to deal with the second.
She has to get the short sale approval for the second
And
mortgage.
you can get a short sale on the second. It's not just the first. So if you're going to be short on both the first and second, I have to get approval from both lenders. The first will dictate to the second what they're going to get. The second has to say, yes, we agree. If it's just the HELOC or second you're short on, we just go to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So really quick, I'm not going to for real end the show, but I'm going to end the show for radio because we are going to actually send this show one last time to our Washington station because they've got an empty hour and they wanted to make sure
they love us so much.
They do. So goodbye for now. We'll be back next week. All right, cool. So radio ending over.
Okay, cool.
So, but what I do want you to do is I want you to give a perfect example of somebody that should be considering the short sale. So we all understand what a short sale is now. You owe more on the property than what you can sell it for after all expenses are accounted for. You've got to figure out what to do. You have no money to bring in for the difference. And so we're going to negotiate with the bank. One of the things that I do want to point out that you mentioned is that it takes 6 to 8 weeks usually to get the bank to even respond once you get an offer. So keep in mind that you are going to price the home very low for a buyer to come in because quite honestly, you're upside down anyway. You don't have the cash. The bank has to approve it anyway. So, trying to get the highest price in the neighborhood doesn't make any sense. So you want to get somebody in there that's willing to buy because they're getting a fantastic deal.
And willing to wait while the rates go up.
Right.
Yeah.
Willing to wait while interest rates go up and waiting on the bank to either approve or maybe even come back in 6 to 8 weeks and say no, which is why sometimes short sales are hard to sell.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. But it is still so much better for you to sell it as a short sale than it is for you to end up with a foreclosure or a deed in lieu of trust. So we don't even want to go down that road. We don't even want to talk about it. I want you guys to put that out of your mind. Give us really quick an example of somebody that you feel would be best suited to consider doing a short sale.
So it's going to be somebody who obviously owes more on the property than it's worth. And it doesn't matter to me whether it's 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000. Doesn't really matter the amount. By the time you add selling costs on top of that, you are definitely upside down. If you want to save your credit, you're not behind on your payments yet. So you can do a short sale, like we said, without being behind on your payments. That is best case scenario for you. It keeps your mortgage payment current while we're trying to work it out with the bank. However, the bank is going to want to see that you have a hardship. If you are behind, that usually shows you have a hardship somewhere, along the line. So you're going to owe more on the house than it's worth.
Okay, but wait a minute though. So let's just say that I make good money.
Okay.
I just got myself into massive debt. I bought a boat. I bought an RV. I bought a trailer. I bought everything, right?
Yeah.
I got myself some jet skis. I mean, I'm thinking like, this is lots of fun, right? I got myself a sports car. I mean, like you name it. And I've got so many payments that I just, the debt ratio isn't there. But in reality, if I didn't have all those toys, I could make my mortgage payment.
You're probably not a good candidate because the lender's going to say, so you're going to sell this house and still have all these toys. So really you have to do a little bit of homework beforehand. And if that boat is too expensive for you, that RV is too expensive, you really need to get rid of those because they are going to look at your credit report. They are going to see what you have. And if you're only delinquent on your house, but you are current with all these other toys, they're going to tell you no. So you have to remember that you have to have some sort of hardship and you've gotten rid of whatever it is that you could have gotten rid of to get yourself out of that hardship. That is what they're looking for. They will look at how much you have in the bank. So if you're somebody who bought all the toys and you're like, oh, Heather, I sold them, but you're sitting on $100,000 in the bank, they're not going to help you out. No. So you really truly have to have that need for a short sale. You can't pay it because you don't have the money. You've gotten rid of all the, fancy smatchy things that you had and you just still can't pay it. Something like that. And it could even be something where, hey, in order for you to keep your job, they're relocating you from one state to another state and you planned on staying in your house, but you can't rent it for what you owe and you can't afford to make additional payment on that from what the rental, if the renter's paying $2,000 and your payment's $3,000, you're $1,000 short, but you got to go over here to the new state and rent. that's even a scenario where I've seen relocations cause short sales. So there's a bunch of different reasons, but just know if you're somebody who spent a lot of money and you don't want to give up your toys or you want to hang on to your money in the bank, short sale is not the option for you. You are somebody who has that hardship. You don't have the funds to help you out. You really need some sort of an out, and this is realistically the only, way that you can do it. So
yeah. Perfect. Yeah, no, perfectly said. Just remember, you guys, if they, like Heather said, if they see that you've got a means to go to be able to make up the difference, they're going to say no. So you do truly need to be in a situation where, things just spiked on you and it, way more than what you anticipated and you're in over your head and there's just no other way out. Right. One thing I want to end the show with is that I really believe that your home is your most valuable asset, and it doesn't matter what it is worth today. It doesn't matter what it's going to be worth next year. It doesn't matter what it's going to be worth the year after that. Your home is your home. Remember that. You're not a renter. Nobody can tell you what to do. Yeah. You can live there for as long as you make your payments. Your home is so important, and we want to see you stay in your home. I would much rather see you sell all of those toys. I'd rather see you file a bankruptcy, even though that stinks. I'd rather see you lose the things that you don't need to have and to keep and maintain your home than to actually sell your property and move and become a renter and have your credit fully messed up. Because remember, it's one thing if your credit's all messed up, but you own your house and you don't have to go apply, with a landlord for a rental. Yeah. But imagine what your landlord, when you go to apply for a rental, how hard it's going to be to get somebody to accept your offer to be their renter when they're looking at your rental. They're looking at your credit history and they see that you didn't make your mortgage payments. Yeah. That was one thing that we dealt with quite a bit during the great financial crisis. So make sure that you guys, just keep that in mind. Your home is your most valuable asset because it is your home. It is your home base. And so we're not trying to give you guys suggestions of doing a short sale, but we are trying to talk about what's reality right now in the world. It's going to become
a real reality.
It really is. So what I do love is that a Victory got on here. Victory is V. I like that. It says, if you're selling your RV, reach out to me. I'm buying. I love it. Anybody that is listening, guys, if you have an RV and you can't afford your house and you have an RV, unless you're going to live in the house, live in the RV and sell the house, which different story. Yeah. Reach out to Victory. Why not? Victory is free. But anyway, we hope that you guys enjoyed the show. Again, just trying to bring really real light and reality to you guys, talk about things that are out there. If there's something that you want to know about, something that you've heard, you're wondering if it's a good idea, get the consultation, call our office, talk to one of us. We're all moms. We've all been in the mortgage industry, like I mentioned, for a very long time. Me and Heather both got started in the mid 90s. So
early
sad
90s.
to say.
Yeah.
I really hope I don't look that old.
You're sitting on a box.
I am sitting on a box to lift me up, but that doesn't have anything to do with my face. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoy the show. But if there's something you do want us to talk about that you'd like us to get into, dig into, happy to bring it to you. Why not? Yeah. It's here. It's on social media. We can say whatever we want. Yeah. Send me an email. Go to the website. Go to mortgagemomradio.com and click the contact us and send me an email. Let me know, like, hey, this is what's happening with me right now. And it's happening to my friend and my sister. And what do you think? And, I'd be more than happy to respond to that. And if it's something really good, I'll make it a show. So anyway, give us a call, get your consultation, go to the website, call us on the phone. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844. We lend for you. WELEND and the number 4. We hope you guys have a great one. We'll be back again right here Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time-ish. So make sure you text the word mom to that same phone number to know when we go live. But we're back every Wednesday. We'll talk to y'all real soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 20802379926, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.